What I've got here today are three lists for the historic format using cards from Pioneer Masters. Now, Pioneer Masters brought a suite of cards that I think could see play in historic. I've just compiled some of the most interesting lists using some of the most interesting cards from that here today. So let's get into them. First deck I want to look at is Lotus Field Combo. Now, this list is the list I'm most unsure of because there are honestly quite a lot of directions you can go with this, more than you think at first. But what's the core of the deck here? Well, with Pioneer Masters, we've got both Hidden Strings and Tome Scour. And when you combine Tome Scour, Hidden Strings, and Underworld Breach as well with a Lotus Field, well, that's a combo. You go through your deck. Let's go through it because it is somewhat intricate. So if you mill 5 off Tome Scour, or so you have Underworld Breach, you mill 5 off Tome Scour. You use some of that to play Hidden Strings to untap Lotus Field and a land. So Hidden Strings equals +2 mana. So you can essentially Hidden Strings +2 mana, 1 mana, Tome Scour, mill 5, go down to 2 cards in library, or 2 cards in graveyard, or 2 Tome Scour again. So you got 7. Expend 3 for Hidden Strings, go up 2. So you got 4, and then you can go down to 1 to Tome Scour, then Tome Scour again. You're netting 1 card each time you loop. So this goes through your whole deck. At the end of your deck, you would Fae of Wishes for Jace, Ruler of Mysteries, and that's how you win. Now, what's the core looking like? Well, in Historic, you get a card you don't get in Pioneer. That is 1 mana, search for Lotus Field. That is if you have all other basics. That is a deck building cost I am willing to partake in. Now, this certainly does come with some downsides, especially if we're technically playing 3 colors here. And also, it comes with a deck building cost in that the card is only really good when you've got that forage cost paid for the kicker. Because if if you do pay the kicker cost, it just goes straight onto the battlefield. It's ramp. It's an amazing card. If that just said 1 mana, seek a non-basic land, put it onto the battlefield, tapped, that would be broken. So how do we make this card good? Well, Tome Scour, which we're already playing, mill 5, that gets the 3 cards for forage. Another way to do forage is to sacrifice a food token, which is why we're playing 4 many partings, which is just 1 met green. Search for a basic, put your hand, create a food token, so these work well together. Also, we are trying to play some cards on turn 1 with green mana, which is why we've got 14 forests to complement our turn 1 play desires. We also are somewhat of a heavy blue deck, so this helps us to get our blue mana. So just smooths out the deck somewhat. We're also running Cameo of Bamboo Grows for that land ramp. And of note, it's an enchantment, so we've got an enchantment here. This makes food tokens, a level and rumble, which helps fill the yard for breach and helps tutor, well, helps us dig towards, say, breach or a Lotus Field or a One Ring. Creates a token. Those are all bargain fodder. And now I recognize Johann Stopcat isn't the best bargain, or isn't the best card in general, but it's the best bargain card I can find. You can return your One Ring to hand. You can return your Underworld Breach if you don't think you can finish the turn. That's much more niche. You can get rid of a hate piece on the end step. That's a little less niche. You know, just help you survive till you can't combo. Because I'm visioning like turn 4, turn 5 is when you can kind of really go off. One Ring, it's an okay card after the nerf. It's not great, but with Hidden Strings, it becomes a lot better. Can also, yeah, help buy us time for, turn 5 or something until we can get fully set up. Untaps, that's basically the whole core there. You also, yeah, the Fae of Wishes, you can tutor a non-creature card from outside the game. So we've got, if we're missing combo piece, win condition. One Ring, it's okay. Thought Distortion against Control, Gigantha is our companion, Brother's End against aggro, and that's the deck. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, the next deck. Niv to Light. Now this is not a completely foreign archetype to those in tune with the Pioneer meta. It's centered around just being this over-the-top value pile that cannot be beaten except for anything that goes under it. You got Niv Mizzet, you look at the top 10 cards and you can get any number of different multicolored cards to your hand. We are playing a decent bit of multicolored cards. Well, we've got Deathrite Shaman. It is legal in Pioneer, but in Historic we've also got Prismatic Vista to complement that, so I'm hoping it's good. I mean, I love the card. It'd be nice if it were good. We've also got Territorial Kavu. No way this would ever get put in the Pioneer because the 2 mana 5/5 that loots every time it attacks. Awesome. Flage. Flage is great. You can discard it to the Kavu, just like discard the Fail, discard the Crucius. More interaction to help us get to that late game in which we're kind of unbeatable. We've got a various interaction. Up the Beanstalk is good with Bring to Light. Oh yeah, Bring to Light. That's the main new card we get from Pioneer Masters. Definitely ties the deck together. But it also has great synergy with the Beanstalk. You can get Valky, flip it to Tibalt right there, using Bring to Light, fun little trick. Leyline Binding for more interaction. Teferi. Now, Teferi, the interesting thing about Teferi is that Teferi gets a little bit better if we were playing Oath of Nissa. Oath of Nissa lets us help find domain better. It also is good with Yorion. It also helps us find our turn 2 Kavus. Hopefully, it's good enough as a deck smoother. I'm not quite sure the exact terminology there. But yeah, hopefully this Oath of Nissas do their work in the deck here. And that's about all I have to say. It is a very similar list to some of the Pioneer versions and some of the Timeless versions. So let's just get into the next one. Alright, I do believe I saved the best for last. The deck I'm most excited for, probably my favorite deck of all time, Kethis Combo. We get Oath of Nissa finally. After all the years, Oath of Nissa finally comes onto Arena. It's been a staple in Modern Kethis. It was a staple in Pioneer Kethis. It's probably what got it banned in Pioneer, to be honest. Finally on Arena. Now this serves as more than just a deck smoother. Let's go into what it actually does for the deck. Well, it gives the deck another good one drop. Before, you're just kind of playing Halfling. Sometimes you play Spheres. You're not really happy to play Spheres. But now, 4 Halfling, 4 Oath in this, 8 cards. That's almost what you need. Just almost every game, in turn 1, play one of these two. You are super happy. Also, yeah, Portable Hole. Just the one off there. We can talk about it later. Alright, what else does Oath of Nissa do for the deck besides help us find our combo pieces, help smooth out our hands, help the curve? Well, it also allows us to play some cards that have synergy with Oath of Nissa, such as Teferi and Lotus. So I guess let's talk about Teferi first. Teferi sees play in the modern version as a clean 4-of, almost no dispute there. And part of the reason it's so good in the deck is because, well, you can bounce your own Oath of Nissas. That's insane value if you're just trying to grind the opponent out. So hopefully Oath of Nissa as a thing to bounce back to hand makes this nerfed Teferi 4 mana worth playing, at least as a 2-of. Because when you do have Teferi on the battlefield, even though you spend 4 mana and you're playing against some kind of control, some kind of deck that will interact on your turn, really nice to have. And it also makes the deck much more mid-rangey, much more able to grind out opponents, as I was saying earlier, and less all-in combo. You'll notice we're not playing Cannon. We're basically like a mid-range deck here, a mid-range combo deck that has many avenues, many different synergies, which is, I guess, why it's so appealing. Oh, Lurrus. Let's talk about Lurrus here. Well, if you play Oath of Nissa, you play a second Oath of Nissa, you'll notice it's legendary, so one will legend roll into the graveyard. Every turn, though, the one that goes into the graveyard, you can replay it with Lurrus. Again, insane value. That's awesome. Alright, what else? Alright, so Lurrus is almost worth playing now. If we have Lurrus, what else can we play? We can play Teshar. Teshar plus 2 Lurruses. Say you have Teshar. You have a Lurrus on the play, a Lurrus in the graveyard. Your Lurrus in play lets you play, say, a Mox Amber from your graveyard. You play it, Teshar trigger, return the other Lurrus to the battlefield. Lurrus Legend Rule, you keep the new one. So now you have another permanent you can play from the yard because it's a new effect. Well, say, I will play my Legend Ruled Mox Amber. Loop 'em, infinite mana. Now, I will say this combo is a little less good than it was in the old Pioneer version, because you don't have Diligent Excavators, so you don't have like a super easy win condition from infinite mana. But I mean, can't you really complain about infinite mana, especially since the cards are so nice, and the deck in general is just kind of an incidental combo. Flage. This was a new MH3 card. I've been loving it. Just internally milling this, you feel like you're on top of the world. It's also a nice card against, say, wizards and other aggro decks. Just a one of, but you'll certainly feel it when you're constantly milling your deck. And say every like third game or so, you mill it over. It's like you're in a much better position. I guess I should talk about Urborg here. Yeah, if we're playing 4 mana Confluence, we don't have the fetch lands. Urborg lets us have mana Confluence without hurting ourselves. It's an okay effect. Makes Lurrus easier to cast with all these, green and blue lands. Nothing too special there. I guess the portable hole I said I was going to talk about earlier. Portable hole means we have 7 artifacts for 2 Emeries. I recognize we're not the best Emery deck, but it's also a permanent for Lurrus. It's a historic card for Teshar. It's a permanent card for Malevolent Rumble. I do not expect this exact list to be the final list once everything is settled. I do expect that maybe the deck will ditch the Lurrus stuff, ditch the Teferi stuff, but I strongly believe it'll keep the Oath and Nissa stuff. So with that, I will conclude my video. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all later.